We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. What are we playing? Wuthering Waves. This is a video that, unfortunately, I like to mainly be positive about Wuwa, but I have to call criticism when I see it, right? I'm swapping out my coffees. And so this is one of those moments where I think Wuthering Waves took an L. We're going to discuss the new post-lament. I like men. We're going to discuss this new 4-star set. Because I'm just going to keep it a stagger. This set's really mediocre, right? So let's talk about this. Post lament, Athro, whatever. I don't know, man. I don't even know what that means. So I want to just give some preference to all of this. 4 stars realistically are not hitting in this game. In the sense of like the sacrificial set, the Favonius set, and and Genshin Impact. Sapwood set. I mean the Sapwood Blade, right? There are just really not that set that's like, oh, this is the one. Because the weapon, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now. Let me pull it up real quick. There's a set that gives you like concerto energy, which is good for like Verena, but like people use it on like someone like Sanhua. Like if you don't have C5 Sanhua, then yeah, like I guess that set might be a little bit decent for you. But realistically, at the end of the day, it's really not that big of an increase, right? So we really are lacking a lot of weapons. So let me not get ahead of myself. Let's get into these weapons first, and then discuss the weapons we have and what I would like to see change. So this is a sword, Fables of Wisdom. This weapon draws its design, blah blah blah. Nobody cares. So it's level 90, 462 attack, 18.2 all of attack, 18.2 off rip. I'm just gonna be honest with you. No crit rate. And that I think is still an L. High in crit rate only to 5-star weapons for the swords, I don't think is very good. Crit rate, echoes are a problem in this game. Echo XP is a problem in this game. Crit is a problem in this game because you have to get so much of it in order for your characters to actually do crit, that when you are lacking weapons, especially in the 4-star rankings that are not giving crit damage, it feels a little stinky. It feels a little whack, you know? Now, obviously, you have Emerald of Genesis, and if you rolled other characters, like you have Chang Li Sword or Camilla Sword, but, excuse me, that doesn't negate the problem with 4 stars lacking, right? So, weapon skill. Dealing damage to enemies with negative statuses. Now, I don't know what they mean by negative statuses. That just scared the absolute shit out of me. I don't know what they mean by negative statuses. Maybe there's some sort of debuff that is going to be applied to people from a Sonata effect or from certain skills. Whatever the case may be, DOT, I don't know. Whatever you want to call negative statuses, increase the wielder's attack by 4%, 5, etc. for 10 seconds. This effect can be triggered 1 time per second, stacking up to 4 times. So at R1, you'll have 4, 8, 12. You have a 16% attack buff plus your attack over here. It's this would never replace the new 4-star sword that we got. It would never replace that because the new Samwar Anchor, straight up, while it does give double attack, it gives you crit rate if you're on field, right? So crit rate, 10 stacks by, exactly 6% by 10. And then after that, it's just nothing crazy. And I believe all of these follow the same thing. Base attack, dealing damage to negative statuses, increase wielder's attack by 4. I don't believe there's any crit rate here at all. Attack, damage by... Yeah, these are all just pretty much under the same set. And again, it's just like... This brings up another problem that I have with the game in the sense of the weapon banner. The weapon banner being a guaranteed 5-star creates problems like this, where we're really not getting a lot of good 4-star weapons available via crafting. Like, this crafting set is pretty doo-doo. Maybe if you just starting the game and you want to craft a weapon, this is better than what we have currently, but not by a large margin. And it's like, listen, guys, I love Wuwa for making these weapons guaranteed. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the problem is that when you don't have these 4-star alternatives, you really feel like you have to pull these weapons. Zhang Liao R5 Stenard, compared to his signature, or even Abyss Surges, like, Stenard's here, Abyss Surges here, his signature's all the way over here. And Abyss Surges isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but it's like, what are we doing, right? We should have a set that's like Sacrificial, that is like Favonius, the Sapwood Blade. I mean, there's tons of 4 stars in that game. They give you Favonius for free. A Favonius bow immediately when you start Genshin, you get it for free, right? Um, I think you have to complete the Archon quest, but 3 hours in, 4 hours in, you get like a goaded 4 star bow. It's great. It's great. And I just think we're severely lacking. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when we look at these weapons, boys, like we're really not eating too good. We have Emerald of Genesis. The swords are kind of a little bit, if you've rolled for these two, you kind of have like a stat stick. And if you get Emerald of Genesis is not bad. Again, the complaint is not about these 5 stars. The complaint is about the fact that we have no real good 4-star alternatives. We have Cadenza. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. I think it's Overture. So this set, right, where it's one resident skills cast restores 8 concerto energy. This is not a horrendous set at all, by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is actually an example of a better set, but even Overture doesn't really get as much use in the game, especially if you have S5, S6 Sanhua, as a lot of these other weapons. It just really isn't that great. So then we go back to the pistols. Obviously, Cadenza could be going more Teffy, although you don't really need it. I personally run Static Mist, but it's like, what are we doing here? Like what if we relativistic jet, right? This gives resident skill, grants 6 resident energy and increase attack by 10%, lasting 16 seconds. Double attack. Thunderbolt. Double attack. When hitting a target with basic attacks or heavy attacks, increase resident skill damage bonus by 7% stack up to 3 times. What if the character doesn't skill with resident skill damage? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this might be a good weapon for Carlotta, I guess. Like if you're free to play, like I think this brings in a problem where it's like, listen, the game's not going to EOS, right? The game's not going to EOS. It's not Tower of Fantasy, but we're getting to a point where it's like you need these 5 stars, and I don't necessarily like that. Just because I love Wuwa and I think it is way more giving than these other games, I don't think that means they can't throw you a bone with a 4-star that has crit rate, even if it's not. I understand there's like 2 in the battle pass, right? There's the Autumn Trace, and then there's the I think it's the I want to say, oh, it's Stenard, right? It's Stenard. Am I big bug? Yeah, it's Stenard. I think Stenard gives crit rate, right? Yeah, Stenard gives crit rate. Listen, give something, man. Like again, a great weapon that is very good, and it is a little bit more character specific, or if you're hyper carry specific, I should say, is this. This is a very good weapon. It's double attack, but it gives you the opportunity to increase your crit rate. Gaining 10 stacks will increase your wielder's crit rate by 6%. You're getting more crit rate as it's going on. You actually max it out. It gets you to 12 crit rate because this is an event weapon, so you can get it to R5. 12% crit rate with a bunch of attack buffs is very good. On top, attack buffs from the passive and then attack buffs from the main stat, right? This is really doing nothing for you. Again, I don't know what they mean by negative statuses. Let me know. Maybe I'm stupid and misinterpreting it, but I don't care what it means. It means if I could fart on you and that's a negative status, I'm getting an attack buff. I don't care. I don't care, because this really is not going to be good for anyone. I doubt this is going to be the best in slot free to play. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and they'll drop some niche character that can use this or something. But like, guys, this is a problem. And I had high hopes for this set, and I'm quite disappointed with this set because it's pretty bad. And people are going to tell you, well, Ethan, again, you could just roll on the banner infinitely. You could just roll on the weapon banner and get it with an 80 pulls. Okay, I get that. But if it's not a 1.0 or 2.0 patch and you only get 90 pulls, you have to try to get the character and then the weapon. And if you get the character in 70, let's just say you don't lose your 50-50, and you're not lucky in those 20 pulls, your response is going to be a good loser. But like, there's no alternative. The alternatives are significantly less. So that's my thoughts on this. I just wish that they would give a little bit more giving 4-star weapons. I really do. I think they could. I don't know why they're not. With that being said, let me know what you think and why you think I'm wrong. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one.